Metaphysics and Politics, a philosophical exploration of ideological foundations, Part 2. Theocratic Monarchy, divine sanction as the primordial model of ordered society. As we commence our detailed traversal of the metaphysical spectrum in politics, beginning, per historical precedents, with one of the earliest and most enduring forms among those examined, theocratic monarchy stands as a foundational archetype. Emerging in ancient civilizations such as Mesopotamia, Egypt, and early Israel, this system predates the more modern ideologies in our framework by millennia, logically deriving its structure from a worldview where human authority is an extension of divine will. Objectively, theocratic monarchy posits that governance is not a human invention born of contract or consciousness, but a hierarchical emanation from a transcendent creator, ensuring societal harmony through alignment with eternal laws. This placement at the metaphysical end of our spectrum is rational, as it fully integrates non-material realities, such as a god or divine order, into the state's legitimacy, contrasting sharply with materialist alternatives that view such constructs as superfluous or illusory. Metaphysically, theocratic monarchy is rooted in theism, affirming a universe governed by a supreme transcendent entity whose decrees form the basis of all existence. Logically, this foundation assumes a great chain of being, where the monarch serves as God's earthly vicar, channeling divine authority to maintain cosmic balance. Historical exemplars, like the pharaohs of ancient Egypt, who were considered incarnations of Horus, or the divine right kings of medieval Europe, illustrate this. The ruler's power is not arbitrary, but ontologically justified, derived from sacred text or revelations that posit hierarchy as a reflection of heavenly order. Rationally, this worldview addresses existential questions of purpose and morality by subordinating human reason to divine wisdom, positing that without such a transcendent anchor, society risks chaos or moral relativism. Yet it presupposes the accuracy of religious interpretations, relying on clergy or institutions to mediate between the divine and the temporal, which logically introduces potential for human error or institutional bias. Socially and politically, theocratic monarchy organizes society in a rigid top-down hierarchy, with the monarch at the apex, supported by religious authorities who interpret and enforce sacred laws. Decision-making flows from divine mandates, such as Sharia in Islamic caliphates or biblical precepts in Judeo-Christian models, regulating aspects from economy to personal conduct to uphold moral purity. Citizens' roles are defined by communal duties tied to faith, with limited individual autonomy subordinated to the collective alignment with transcendent principles. Enforcement relies on absolute rule, blending royal decrees with clerical oversight. Logically, this structure promotes stability by providing a unified ethical framework, assuming that divine laws offer timeless guidance superior to human variability. However, it rationally depends on widespread acceptance of the faith to avoid coercion, as dissent might be framed as heresy rather than legitimate critique. In distinguishing theocratic monarchy from other metaphysically oriented ideologies on our spectrum, its explicit theism sets it apart, versus fascism, which secularizes transcendence by elevating the nation-state as a quasi-spiritual entity with its own will to power. Theocracy remains faith-centric, deriving authority from a specific deity rather than national myths or charismatic leaders. Rationally, this makes theocracy more doctrinally rigid, focused on religious orthodoxy, while fascism is pragmatic and mass-mobilizing. Compared to an aristocratic imperium, also known as traditional imperium, theocracy is clergy-mediated and tied to organized religion, whereas the former emphasizes esoteric, warrior elitist initiation beyond institutional faith, critiquing theocracy for potential passivity or egalitarianism within the believer community. On the broader spectrum, it contrasts with materialist systems like communism, which reject divine hierarchies as tools of oppression, logically favoring empirical class analysis over spiritual mandates. Even centrist secular liberalism privatizes religion, viewing it as incompatible with neutral governance. Objectively evaluating its implications, theocratic monarchy's strength lies in its logical provision of moral coherence, where transcendent ethics foster social unity and long-term continuity, as evidenced by the millennia-spanning durability of such systems, Rationally, it addresses human needs for meaning by integrating governance with ultimate questions of existence, potentially reducing alienation in fragmented societies. However, this integration risks logical pitfalls. If divine interpretations are contested, it may justify suppression of pluralism, leading to stagnation or conflict, as historical inquisitions or modern religious enforcements demonstrate. Without mechanisms for adaptation, it could falter in diverse or secularizing contexts, though its metaphysical grounding offers a reasoned counter to purely utilitarian politics by emphasizing accountability to a higher order. This examination of theocratic monarchy as the entry into metaphysically grounded ideologies underscores how ancient philosophical commitments continue to inform modern governance, setting the stage for comparative analysis with its hierarchical counterparts and the spectrum's materialist origins.